Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone. You are live on Wisdom for Life. This is Prophet Emmanuel. Let's keep sharing. Let's keep sharing. Let's keep sharing. Let's keep sharing. If you've just tuned in, let's keep sharing. Let's keep sharing. Let's keep sharing. Let's keep sharing. This is Wisdom for Life. I want to welcome you again, whether you're watching me live or you're watching the recorded version. I still want to welcome you. God bless you. This is Wisdom for Life. Let's keep sharing. Let's keep sharing. Let's keep sharing. We want to wait for everyone. Let's keep sharing. Let's keep sharing. If you come in, let your comment flow. If you come in, let your comment flow so that we can acknowledge you, we can recognize you. This is Wisdom for Life. As we do always, once you come in, let's share. Let's keep sharing. Let's keep sharing. Let's keep sharing. Let's keep sharing. Once you come in, if you've got any comments, feel free to put it out there. And we will do our best to tackle it. Let's keep sharing. Let's keep sharing. Let's keep sharing. Let's keep sharing. God bless every single one of you. Let's keep sharing. Let's keep sharing. Let's keep sharing. Let's keep sharing. Once you share, you can put your comment there that you've shared. Let's keep sharing. Let's keep sharing. We're just about to start Wisdom for Life. At the moment, the clock has changed in UK. So we are GMT +1. Let's bear in mind there's going to be few changes to the time so that it fits properly to the new order. But for now, it's still going to stay GMT, 9 p.m. Just to bear that in mind. Let's keep sharing. Let's keep sharing. Nancy, God bless you. Mao, God bless you. Let's keep sharing. We're just waiting for everyone to come. Okay, so we're about to start Wisdom for Life. We've been talking throughout the month, we've been talking about finances. We've been looking at ways we can improve our finances, our spending. Is very key that as we wrap everything up today, we hit on some of the key points that have been mentioned throughout the month. Um, Obviously, when it comes to finances, we can't finish talking about it because it's very broad. Um, Hello, Andrea. God bless you. Finances is very broad, so we can't exhaust it. As time goes on, we might revisit some of the key things, but for now, it's just to get you the basic understanding, of finances, because finance control everything. It controls our life, our existence. Everything is about finances. So if you can handle it properly, it will help you. So today we're going to look at the 7 key things you need to avoid, or the 7 financial things that you need to avoid if you want to be successful. I mean, I'm going to look at it from different angles. So, even though it's the 7 things you can avoid, some of them I might talk about it as the things you need to be doing, basically, because the opposite of the things you need to avoid is what you need to do. So, we're going to mix it up just to get you to fully understand what you need to do. That's what we're going to be discussing, break it down a bit so that we fully understand. Jerome, God bless you. God bless you. But let's keep sharing. Let's keep sharing because we are just about to start. We want to get everyone on board. Let's keep sharing. Once you come in, just put a comment there. Put your comments. If you've got any question related to what we are discussing, you can bring it. Or even if it's outside it, we'll still try and touch on that. Let's keep sharing. Let's keep sharing. Let's invite everyone. So today we're going to be looking at, Mao, God bless you. We're going to look at the 7 things that you need to avoid, or the 7 mistakes that most people make that end them in all sort of problems. These are things you need to avoid if you want to have financial freedom. All the 7 things we need to do to avoid those 7 things that we are supposed to avoid. Mamea, God bless you. So it's important that we understand this to keep ourselves in a very, very good place. So that's what we're going to be discussing. Hopefully, we'll have enough time to deal with that. As I talk, you can invite people. Wisdom for Life is non-denominational. It's just pure wisdom that we can run away with. As I say always, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a financial consultant. So my job is to present information to people, to investors, and decide what they want to do. So when I come here, I'm doing the same. I just present information, then you can decide or choose what you want to take. Um, it's entirely up to you. Um, and if you're watching me pre-recorded, it's the same. So today we are looking at things that we need to avoid to you know if we avoid them, we avoid financial hardships. And as I said, I'll make it with some of the things that we need to do as well. The 7 will not just be the negatives. I like to be positive, so um, I look at things from different angles. So the first thing that we need to be mindful of, or we need to be very careful, is not to depend on one stream of income. If you depend on one stream of income, you are in trouble. Why are you in trouble? The day you lose your job, you have no income. The day you lose your sickness pay, i.e., you've been sick for a very long time, you don't have any income. And aside that, income is not enough. I mean, I've had opportunities to work in companies where because of the size of the company or because of the need of the business. I've worked in HR, I've worked in, sales, I've worked in pure finance, um, I've worked in customer service, I've worked in IT. So I've got a bit of knowledge of how companies or industry work, especially with the HR side. Now, when a company is putting forward a salary to a person, the company consider what is enough for the person. They don't consider what the person deserves. They consider what is enough. That's why some salaries are negotiable, but they put a basic there. And even if you negotiate, they are looking at what they believe is enough skill, the skill of the job that they are advertising. So how do they calculate it? They look at the average wage, then they look at the location as well. So the location, depending on the location, there's a premium on the location. They look at the location as in travel and stuff like that, or what the average earning is. And they look at the economic situation, i.e., how the person that can utilize that money and be okay. So everything that they do is just to get a salary, which is okay. It's okay. You can pay rent because you are living in London. This is the average, or you're living in Texas. This is the average rent. That's why every city has got their own income. The same job, but it's different pay. Why? Because they feel if you are in a smaller city, you don't deserve more. It's the same job you're doing, but they believe that the one in the city or the high streets needs to earn more than the one who is doing the same or even more. Um, God bless you, Victor. God bless you, Rebecca. Uh, who deserves a bit more, but because of the location, they will not pay. So the point I'm trying to make is that the one paying you is paying you what is just enough for you. What is just enough, quote unquote, will never be more than enough for you, because you want to get to a place where you have more than enough. Because when you have more than enough and you lose some, you still got enough. But when you've got enough, which is what they are paying you, and you lose some, then you don't have much. And that's where a lot of people find themselves in a place where they don't have much because there's no streams of income coming in. Living on one stream of income is a disaster. Um, a lot of people will say, "So what do I do? My salary is not even enough. It just pay my rent." Yes, it's not enough. It just is hand to mouth because that is the salary that is being given to you. And when you find yourself in that situation, there's two things you can do. It's either you find something that pays you a bit more, or you find something in what pays you less and and invest it. Um, that is what you need to do. Now, in terms of making your money work, there's two things or two power plays here, or two factors that or two elements that can help us to be able to get our money working for us. Um, there are two things we can draw from our salary because the salary is not enough. So when it comes to salary, you need to find a capital within your salary and invest it. That's the first thing you can do. You can find a capital from your salary to invest um, or to grow. That is that is to say, you have to find a way to cut some of your spending. That's the only way it can work. And whether we like it or not, we might be spending too much somewhere. If you look at our salary, you might be spending too much somewhere. I mean, I deal with a lot of people's most of the private things I do. When they come in and I ask for their statement, you realize that either they're paying too much for accommodation, or they're paying too much for food, or they're paying too much for clothing. These are the three key things that come out. The fourth one is probably debt. that causes them to pay too much. So if you've got that four issue, then it's a problem. You can't be earning $2,000 and your rent is $1,002. It just doesn't make sense, because by the time you take off your bills and your food, you are left with nothing basically. So you need to find a way to cut something. If it means you have to get a smaller apartment, or move to a place where it's cheaper, it's better. It's better you do that, because then you'll be able to free some cash flow and you can build assets from that. I.e., you can invest in government bonds, you can invest in fixed assets or variable assets. You can invest in different things. And I'm not going to go into those assets. It's a subject on its own I'll deal with at a later date. But you want to be able to free up something. If it means your fast food money, the money for rave or outing, you just have to free it to be able to invest. That's one thing. One thing. The second one is for you to create a cash flow. For you to create a cash flow, and to create a cash flow, um, the common um, the common thing I often tell people is that, and I say it with the right reason because it's been distorted, is to use what you have to get what you want. Like the saying goes, even though it's been distorted, as I said, some people have gone, they feel they have to use themselves to get someone, to get the money they want. That's not what I'm saying. You need to look at your skill. You need to look at your passion. Those two things can fetch you money: your skill and your passion. Your skill can be your knowledge, something that you've acquired. Some people are skillful in making hair, no one taught them how to do. Some people are skillful in playing instruments, they are skillful in different way. You can monetize those things or generate money from it, and you don't need to do on a large scale. You can start with family, friends, do their hair. You might not, they might not necessarily pay as much. Maybe if it costs $80 outside, it might give you 40, $60. But if you put it together, you realize that you are not buying any product. You're only selling your skill, you're only selling your knowledge, your experience, and it's fetching you. And our passion as well. There are things that we are passionate about. Those two things are there for a reason. They are there for us to be able to maximize on that. In life, if you cannot produce something that is uncommon or something that many people cannot do, you are not worth um, the money that you want to generate, because only if you can present something that no one can present, then you can be able to get what no one can get. So if we've got an average mindset, we've got average way of doing things, we've got an average way of seeing things, we will not be able to generate um, the money that is in us that we can easily generate. Some people, I always say, I find it very hard to understand people that read so much, but they cannot write books. If you can read so much, you should be able to write books. Book writing, it might take time, but it's a straightforward thing. You are putting in, you are just pouring wherever, and you can write books on anything. You can write books on your experiences with Beth. You can write books. Most of the time, real life experiences sell, and you can write on anything. Nowadays, you don't even have to print the books. If you go to Amazon Kindle, you can have ebooks where you are not paying a publisher, you are not paying anyone shipping costs. People will just go online, buy it, and read it online. Even though the money is a bit small, let's say if a hard copy book you could get, let's say $15, $20, the ebook you could get maybe $5, $10. But imagine, having 50 people reading your book. 10 people reading your book, £5 is £50. £50. If you've got 50 of them, then it's still a lot of money, £250. And your cost is very, very low. So you need to understand that there are ways you can generate money. You can generate money different ways. There are a lot of people that social media, they are making money. All they need to do is to do different videos, and it sells. God bless you, Pastor Samuel. So let's bear that in mind. So what you need to avoid just depending on your 9 to 5. You need to avoid it, because other than that, you will just be working for spending, basically. That's what most people call hand to mouth. Let me see if there are any questions. Let's keep sharing. We've got about 30 minutes, then we are through. So let's keep sharing. So today we're dealing with the 7 habits we need to avoid, or 7 things we need to do to be able to free ourselves from financial freedom. The second thing that we need to be mindful of is sorry, is there a question there? Okay, the second thing we need to try and avoid is spending more than we are earning. We need to be very mindful of that. You cannot spend more. Some people don't even realize that they spend more than they earn. They don't realize that until every money in the account is gone. And that's why it's always dangerous to put all your money in one basket or one account, because you just clean out everything, including your savings, which is in the same place. Some people, their savings are in their current account. It's not a bad thing. I would rather advise people, not advise, but I'd rather, if you have your savings in your current account, there's nothing wrong, because sometimes, you don't have to pay tax on anything, but it doesn't grow for you. But let's be real, savings don't grow much, because you only get like 0.1%, maximum 0.3%, which is a chicken change. If let's say, by way of example, if you've got $10,000 in your account, the most you can get at the end of the year, if it's even if it's 1%, the most you could get is £100. You get £100 for having 10,000 in your account, and the bank has used that 10,000 to invest, made 60% a month, 40%, 30% a month. You have made 1% a year or less. So we need to understand that we have to be very careful with our spending. If you are spending more than what you are earning, then you're always going to be in trouble. And often I hear people say, how do I know? How do I control my spending? Is very hard. One of the things that banks have made available to us, and they are trying to take it away from us, is making statement accessible to people. I know there's still argument with online banking is there for people, but if you realize, the banks don't like to send statements anymore. They encourage people. I know they've got this Planet B and stuff like that, but they're encouraging paperless, because not everyone has time to go online and look at it. Whereas if your bank statement comes, you rip it. The more you keep track with your statement, which you can check online, or you can go to a cash point, the more you become aware of your spending. One thing about spending is, if you are not aware what you are spending or what you are spending the money for, the money will go quicker, or you lose the money easily. So you need to keep track of what you are spending to make sure you are not spending more than you are earning. Your salary. You cannot be buying bags and shoes that cost more than your salary. makes no sense. It makes no sense. So we need to be very mindful of that fact, where we are not spending more than we are earning. If your spending is a lot, then you need to find ways to generate more money. Like a tank, if it's very full, the day it reduces a bit, um, you still okay, basically. But if you're just okay with your budget, your expenses, then you always go through struggle. Now, the third thing is you need to plan before you spend. Now, this is different from not spending more than what you have. This is you planning before you spend, whether it's a shopping list you have to make, whether it's a plan that covers the whole year, whether it's a plan for the future. You have to have a plan before you spend. You need to know what you are spending on and why you are spending it, before you spend. Either than that, things will get out of hand. People don't plan. They say failing to plan is planning to fail. Because they don't plan, it's easy for them to falter, because they don't have control over their own spending or over their finances, and that can be a huge problem. So we need to bear that in mind, that we don't spend before we plan. Every single day, you need to know what you are doing with your money. Before they pay you, or after they pay you, or when they pay you, you need to know every single penny you are spending. Um, it's important. You need to have a budget plan. You need to have some spending plan, something that will help you, or will be like a guide to what you do. I mean, I always admire people that cook and they've got books there, and they put one spoon in there, they put the other spoon, because they're going according to the guide. They believe in that. And it's the same way. You have to have a guide that every day you know what you are putting the money into for, and how you're gonna spend that. So it's very key. So that's the number three things that you need to avoid. Let's see if there's any questions there. And this means it doesn't need to be too complicated. Have a list, have a notebook, put your income there, $3,000, your rent, just write everything down, and you see how much you have left. And when you write everything down, I know that's the old way of doing things. If you're a computer literate and you want to do something on graphs, that's fine. But all you need to do is to put figures there. Be aware of what you are spending. Be aware of what you are spending on, and it will help you. Number four, avoid avoid debt as much as possible, or avoid borrowing if possible. Now, I've had some financial advisors say that you can borrow to invest. You can borrow to invest. I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't necessarily agree with that, because investment, every investment carries an element of risk. You can lose your own capital. And for me, when it comes to investment, I don't encourage anyone to invest more than 10% or 20% at most of what they have, whether it's their savings, their income, or anything, or money together. I don't encourage anyone to invest more than that, because that's the risk that you want to take. 10% of your income, which you don't lose sleep if things go bad. The only time I will recommend a loan for investment is if you want to buy a property. Let's say you want to put a down payment or something, renovation, especially if it's a property you're going to rent later. It will help you to generate some money. So it's very key that we understand borrowing. It's not something that you use if you don't need it. You use for pleasure, you use for personal use or personal stuff. It's not the ideal step or the ideal way to do things. So you need to avoid that. That's the fourth thing you need to avoid. Avoid doing things without a proper plan. You need to avoid that. If there's no proper plan, then there's a huge problem. If you are spending more than what you're earning, it's also a huge problem. And if you're not generating more money, it's also a huge problem. We need to understand that in this economic world, we have to be able to control our spending to be able to maximize our savings. Is very key. So the fifth thing that I want to encourage us to have, or let's say not to have, because we are looking at both end, is to avoid impulse buying. Avoid impulse buying. That's the fifth thing that we need to avoid if we want to be financially free. And this cuts from being able to control your spending. You need to or having a plan in play. You have to avoid impulse buying, and impulse buying comes in two ways. One, it comes in when we see our cravings or something that we're craving for. We we can be caught up in impulse buying. But the second one is the dangerous one, when we are caught on having deals basically or promotion. You went to the supermarket to go get eggs, bread, milk for breakfast. Then you got there, the sausages are two for £6 or two for $5. You were not planning to buy sausages because the egg would have been enough for you, but because you saw the red label, you've jumped into buying it, and this is how money gets taken from people. Buy one get one free. You think the supermarket will easily give things away. They've worked out their cost. If they have to give you one free, it doesn't cost them anything. But for you, it's a big deal. So you are not planning to buy something, but you've seen an offer, you've seen sales on ticket on that, and because of that, you've bought things that you don't need. The worst thing is sometimes we come home only to realize that the same thing we've got some in the freezer or the fridge that we bought a week before, 2 weeks before, but we were not thinking. We were not thinking. So you always have to be very careful when it comes to impulse buying. Either than that, it's going to destroy you. It's going to take a lot of money off you. It's important that we get that. But as I said earlier on, I was saying don't borrow to spend unless it's needed. You don't just borrow to spend unless it's needed. It's very key. And sometimes people will just, because of impulse buying, they use their credit cards, overdraft, and money is a psychological thing. The moment you see yourself in overdraft, you can give up and you can just spend, because now it's like there's nothing you can do. So you can end up overspending. It's important that we keep things in shape. So avoid that. If you avoid that, um, you go a long way to be able to hold on to the money that you have. If you've got a list of things that you need, you enter into the supermarket. Those are the things you buy. Um, those are the things you need to focus on. Other than that, you will buy something even more expensive and not realize how much has come out of your account. Um, so let's have that in mind. Now the sixth thing, which is important, that we we avoid, or this one I'll say in a very positive way, that skill that we need to have. I'll talk about the avoidant ones. Um, is to learn how to negotiate before you buy, or don't buy if you don't know how to negotiate is key. Um, those little things we negotiate um, in the long term saves us money. Some people, they go to the meat market, they quote a price, they are too gentle and they accept it. Negotiations are very key. Even big businesses, they negotiate for deals. Why don't they just go for any deal? They want value for money. They want to spend less, but they want to have high quality. So it's very, very necessary that we learn negotiation skill, how we can we can move from a very high price to a low price without compromising on the quality. It's very, very key. Um, and sometimes uh, when it comes to negotiation, negotiation is not always you talking. People see negotiation as like a business transaction where you have to be a certain way to be able to achieve that. No, you can also negotiate by price comparison. That's the indirect negotiation. So you're always checking online. Let's say you want a flight ticket to Germany or Spain, and you're looking for the cheapest possible ticket you can get. Um, the negotiation is you staying online, you watching it, to be able to get the best value for the same product, the same airline that is going there. There's the best value for it. So we need to learn how to negotiate properly. We need to learn how to get things at the right price before we move in. Not because you went to view the house and they quoted $1,005, you move in. Sometimes you can negotiate for them to bring it 1,000 or 1,001, and you'll be surprised the money you can save from that. So negotiate brings it brings a lot of things out, and it also helps to be able to not to put all your money in an asset that is not going to take you anywhere. You want to be able to negotiate so that you pay less, and you're able to free money to do other things. Let me see if there's any question again. Okay, there's no question. So we're dealing with the 7 things that we need to avoid, or the 7 things we need to do to be able to gain financial freedom, which is key, because we often make certain mistakes, and those mistakes can be very costly. They can be very costly, so we need to be very careful when we're making those steps. Financial decisions is a habit of everyone's life. So if you get it right, you will live right. So the seventh thing that we need to avoid, or we need to try and do, is to try and um, consolidate all our debt. If possible, you want to avoid debt if possible. You want to avoid debt, but if you can't, you need to just try and consolidate those debt. Is key. So, for instance, you've got credit cards that you are paying, maybe from same bank, different credit card. If you speak to the bank can bring all the debt together on one card, and you can pay that bit. The reason why I'm saying that is because you don't lose control of what you are paying. When you have too many things coming from too many places, it's easy for you to miss different things. So it's important you consolidate. And one secret that the banks will do, especially if you owe the banks, this is something that the banks will not tell you. I'm not saying every bank does that, but sometimes what you could do is you can find ways to reduce your debt that you owe to the bank. What am I saying? Let's say you've got a loan of 20,000 and you've paid 12,000 and there's still so much to go, or 8,000 to go. You can write to the bank or the credit agency, explain your situation, especially if you're going through a difficult situation. Difficult situation. You can speak to the bank and say, "Look, I'll pay straight away 60% of what I owe, or 70%." The banks will write off the remaining. The banks will write off, especially if it's something they know is going to take you a long time to pay. You are paying £50 a month for a loan which is almost £10,000. You write to the bank and say, I'm gonna pay some. They'll write you off. So instead of paying, let's say, a whole 8,000, you could end up paying 6,000 or 5,000. And it doesn't really affect you much, because to the bank you've paid off the loan. So it's not going to create any financial or bad credit for you. At the end of the day, it's the bank that you were owing and they've agreed to that. Samuel says, is there a budgeting app you can recommend? Okay. I will let you know later. I'll let you know. Because on the program, I don't like to mention companies and I don't want to do any promo for them. So I will let you know later. And if anyone is interested in anything, let's say if I want to know the best bank, to get more interest and stuff like that, I can send information personally. One thing I want to add to it, I want to add to everything. One of the biggest mistake, you can use as the eighth point, but I want to stick to the 7 principles or 7 point. But one of the things that we have to overcome or we need to master, is being able to look at all the fine print, or all this, as we call it, the small prints. It's cost a lot of people. Some people don't know what happens if, like insurance, for instance, If someone dies, maybe they think it's life insurance, I'm going to get a lot of money. Some insurance company can pay you bits if you're a spouse or parents, child. Um, they can be paying you bits every month, which might not be exactly what you were hoping for. But maybe that's their policy. That's their policy. Some insurance companies, um, let's say if you've got, I'm talking in UK terms, if you've got a no claim bonus of, let's say, 10 years, they can come turn around and say, we only acknowledge half of the no claim as per our policy. And because of that, it will have a financial effect on you. So we need to learn to read the small print, the terms and conditions. Let's read it before we sign it. Some of us, we've never read any terms and condition. Our mind is the condition, so we have to learn to do that. Look at the little margins, because they can go a long way to become very huge. Um, so let's bear that in mind. Now, I'm going to touch a bit on borrowing. I'm going to touch a bit on borrowing. It's a subject I'm going to maybe look at it a bit more. But through my recent encounter with people, I realized that borrowing is an issue because everyone would say, "Look, I need the money. I needed a lump sum to do something. The only way I could get that money is to borrow." Now, the caution I'll give is that the wisdom I want to give on borrowing is that you don't borrow more than double of your salary. If you want to borrow any money, so let's say you earn $2,000 and there's a bank or a credit card company trying to encourage you to take more than 5,000 when your salary is just two, you need to be very careful. You need to be, because you wouldn't be able to pay. Um, there are three things that I always say. There are three things. The one, you need to make sure it's double of your salary, and I'll tell you why. Because the repayment, when it comes to repayment, you can always repay. So if you've got 2,000, um, or you earn 2,000 a month, you shouldn't be borrowing more than 4,000. Now, if you borrow 4,000, when the interest comes in, the interest might be 23%, 20, let's say 20% interest. That means you've got a good loan agreement. 20% interest means you are going to pay 8,800 in addition to the 4,000 you have, or you are borrowing. So, i.e., you're going to be paying in total 4,800. Now, when you find yourself in that situation, make sure you go for the maximum loan period. And most of the time, personal loan, um, they normally give you 5 years maximum. Go for the whole thing. A lot of people will just, I don't want to, be in debt. I want to pay it off quickly. I want to buy a house. So they go for 2 years or 3 years. And they are worried about the interest. But the interest between 2 years and 3 years, it's not much. Between 3 years and 4 years, even between 3 years and 5 years, it's not much. It will be maybe another £100 or dollars in addition to it. But then it allows you to spread the whole thing, because when you are paying loans, I said it earlier on, previously, that you shouldn't be spending more than 10% on your debt. So if your loan is 4,800, you earn 2,000, 10% of that is 200. So every month, 200 goes into the loan. 1 year, you pay 1,200. 2 years, you pay 2,400. 3 years, you pay 3,600. 4 years, 4,800. You've paid off the loan, and you've even got a year left. And often when you pay off your loan before the time, it builds your credit score. It helps you. So you've gone for the maximum just to allow yourself time. In that way, you are not emotionally stressed with your spending because you know you have what it takes to cover that loan. Um, so when you put all those together, you realize that um, the simple measure is to just double your salary and say that's what I want to borrow. I can't borrow more than that. If you want to borrow more than that, you need to earn more than that. Because if more inflows, the outgoings or the outflows will be a bit smoother or it'll be easier because the pot is big enough to bring more resources into it. More resources into it. Let me see if there's any question. I've got just a few minutes to go. Let's see if there are any questions. Okay, so there are no questions. Yeah, so that's one thing you need to have in mind when you want to borrow money. You want to borrow money. You need to be mindful of that. Now, what I want to finish off with, what I want to finish off with is that um, we need to be very careful in terms of our credit score um, to ensure that we pay off whatever loan that we have. Me personally, um, I don't really believe in credit card. I believe credit card is for people that have credit in their bank, not people that have deficit in their account. The best way to use credit card is to pay off before the end of the month so that you don't pay any interest. If you have what it takes to pay off, then it's a good thing to have it. But if you don't have enough to pay off every month, it's like you are borrowing because every month the debt is getting worse. Then it becomes a problem. It becomes a problem having that credit card. It will be it will be disastrous. Basically, it will be very disastrous. People don't really think about it that way because if you pay credit card early, it boosts your credit card. Credit card, that's what we use it for. Emergency and also to boost everything that we have. It has to be emergency. You traveled, your card is not working, credit card. One day I'm gonna be talking more about credit card because there are upside to it that we take for granted because if let's say you have a credit card and someone takes money from your account, it's the bank's money they will get back. It's one of the benefits of it. But then the drawback is that it can put you in all sorts of debt. And the banks are different when they want their money back. It's not the same people that gave you the money. They will come charging at you and they will quickly take it to court to put a CCJ on your record. So we need to be very careful when we are dealing with the banks. I believe there's no question. So all in all, just to wrap it up, we have to understand that habits is what um, can cause our finances to plummet or to look bad. Anything that you haven't worked for, um, you shouldn't force to sort of like um, get because everything you have to work for, and you need to get to a place where you can move from working for your money to the place where your money will work for you, i.e., creating different cash flow. We can use our skills, we can use our knowledge to create a cash flow to come in. Don't despise those small things. You don't need a big income to be able to start business. Um, and let's bear in mind, one thing that one of these days I'll talk about is the difference between business and investment. I personally recommend that people go investment, because investment doesn't require much. Money doesn't get tight. Whereas if you open a business, you are now trying to build yourself. So there's no cash flow coming in. Investment will bring that cash flow that you need to be able to enjoy the life that you have. So we need to be very, very mindful of that. We need to be very mindful so that we can we can structure a plan in place, which will ensure that we are bringing in money from different sources, and we are also spending wisely. Because it's one thing having more cash flow, there's another thing spending wisely. If you spend things wisely, then you always have it, because you don't lose what you take good care of. So it's my hope that we can take something away, we can build a knowledge and a wisdom from that. Next week, we're going to start a new series for the month of April. We're going to talk about a different subject. We'll move away from finances and move to a new topic. So let's watch the space. We'll get the flyer out. Just a quick announcement. Well, tomorrow, we're going to have Bible Digest. Let's tune in. Tuesday, Bible Digest. Because of the change in time, it's going to be at 9 p.m. UK time, which is BST, and it still stays at 8 p.m. GMT. It stays at 8 p.m. GMT. So people that are GMT is the same 8 p.m. like before, but it will just be an hour ahead in UK, which is 9 p.m. Mystery Corner will stay at 10 p.m. Mystery Corner will stay at 10 p.m., which is 9 p.m. GMT, but it will stay at 10 p.m. The rest of them will stay at 11 p.m. as well. Destiny Moment on Wednesday, it will be 11 p.m. BST, but it will be 10 p.m. GMT. I hope I'm not confused. If I say it's staying, I mean the BST. It's going to stay BST 11 o'clock. The only thing that is changing is Bible Digest, which if you are BST, it will be plus one, which is 9 o'clock. And Wisdom for Life, we start at 10 p.m. BST, which is still 9 p.m. GMT, so that we don't get confused. So it's Bible Digest that will go forward. Wisdom for Life will go forward, but Destiny Moment and Hour of Encounter will stay at 11 p.m. GMT, which is 12 o'clock UK, or 12 o'clock BST. The other thing I want to also put across, if you are looking to, or if you want to reach out to me next week, you wouldn't be able to get me. I'm not traveling or anything. I've lost both numbers. So from Monday, I'm going to sort myself out with another phone and try and get them to send me my numbers. So at the moment, I've lost all my phone. So if you reach me, you wouldn't get me. If you try to reach me, you'll have to give me a bit of time. Once I sort it out, I'll let everyone know. And I'll encourage everyone to text me so that I can get your numbers again and be able to save them. But for now, I'm not reachable. If you want to reach me, you wouldn't be able to get me. I hope it makes sense. Just for probably a few days whilst I sort it out, get two phones and get the SIM sorted as well. May God continue to bless every single one of you. May God protect you until I see you again. Like I said, Bible Digest, I might not send notification because I can't, but we are meeting tomorrow at 9 p.m. BST, which is 8 p.m. GMT. Remain blessed.